Hey, what's up, everybody? It is right inside the 2 o'clock hour here in the beautiful city of Muskegon, and it's time for Making Moves Monday right here on 103.7 The B. I am your host, Jen Ross. Haven't talked to y'all since Juneteenth, so you know, y'all. I was on the show with Troy Bell, the city manager for Muskegon Heights, last week on his show on Wednesdays. But because my show happened to be on a holiday, come on now, because it's a federal holiday. I wasn't here. So again, I gave thanks to everybody who came out, who participated, the planning committee, my homegirl Kaya, the co-coordinator for the event, and of course, Mr. Troy Bell for everything that the city put forward to help us with the Juneteenth celebration. Went from 1 day last year to 3 days this year. Major shout out to Muskegon Rotary Club for holding their annual mixer to kick off the weekend that Friday night. And we're already starting to plan and build for next year. So stay tuned. Like, keep a lookout for Juneteenth for next year. People have been like, "So what's next, Jen?" So up next, we got the festival in the park. So vendor applications. You can sign up now to be a food vendor, merchandise vendor, or resource partner for the Muskegon Heights Festival in the park. If you just take a look at my Facebook page, you might have to go down a little bit, but the link is there to sign up, and that is the weekend of July 21st, I believe. I don't have the flyer in front of me, but Heights Festival in the Park has been going on for years. I mean, this is a legendary event. Shout out to Mimi Rankin for her vision and keeping it going. And they have entertainment Thursday starts. It's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Entertainment Thursday night, Unique Soul on Friday, and then on Saturday is when Sada Baby is coming to Muskegon. So the tickets are on sale for that too. So make sure y'all come on out and support the festival in the park. Nice, clean, family fun. Stay peaceful, y'all. We want to keep doing this. So we want to keep doing stuff in the city. So I just need everybody to cooperate and have a good time. Come out and just have a good time. Leave whatever beef you got somewhere else, but come on out and have a good time. So, in the studio with me today, ta-da, is my cousin. This is Mrs. Leslie Williams-Ware, who is a Muskegon native, and in town from New York City. My cousin made it to New York. She is going to co-host with me today. But before we get into what she has going on, I have another very special guest on with me today. Hey, Miss Debra.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. Good. I have Miss Debra Griffin, who is the founder of the Muskegon WIN, um, which is Muskegon Women in Formation, which was you know what? I'm gonna let her. I'm a part of the organization, but I'm going to let her describe what Muskegon Win is and what the goal is of Muskegon Win and what the event is they have coming up today.
Okay. So I am the current president or the current chairperson for Muskegon Women in Formation.
Mm-hmm.
And our acronym is WIN, Muskegon WIN. We are actually celebrating our 1 year anniversary. And today, just tell you a little bit about what Muskegon WIN is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a group of local area women, women of color, majority Black women, who have come together in order to basically to address local issues that impact our communities.
Yes.
We want to make sure that one of our major focus is to um, support, mentor, train, and eventually at some point, once we're able to build our coffers, be able to endorse and then give money to Black
Mm-hmm.
females running for office. We want to encourage more minority women to run
Absolutely.
for office in Muskegon County.
Yeah.
One of the things that is an issue with that has to do with, you know, dollars.
Yes.
But for today, what we're having is tonight at 5 p.m. at Mount Zion Church of God is a Know Your Rights event. So we're having experts from the FBI, the Department of Labor. We'll have some local police officers. We will also have the Muskegon County Drain Commissioner will
Mhm.
be there in order to talk about urban environmental issues, something that our community, both our communities, Muskegon and Muskegon Heights, need to be aware of.
Mhm.
These people will come in, they'll basically give us the information about rights. So, what are our rights? Locally,
Mm.
federally, at the state level. These are things we need to know, especially with the change in rulings from the Supreme Court.
You
So,
know what? I was gonna get into that. I'm glad you actually said that. So with everything that's happened
mhm.
in this past week, why, Miss Deborah, would you say that it's so important now for women to run, people of color in general to run for office?
It is beyond important.
Mhm.
What we see here is a situation where we have allowed people, first of all, we need to get into the game.
Yes.
And in order for us to get in the game, we have to start at our local level. Black women have to. We march, we fight, we vote, but we also need to be at these tables. And
Mhm.
it's important for us to be at these tables so that the way that the politics work is that you start, and then what we need is to be able to have good leaders in place to move up the ladder. And
Mhm.
especially when you come from the judicial piece, people seem to leave that on the floor. But what you see is, especially with the um, nomination and then the actual confirmation of Katanji, is
Mhm.
that we need to have Black women in place to move up these ladders, to sit on these courts in order to say, to do the law as it is actually given, but also to be there to prevent some of these type of bias type
Occurrences.
of
Yeah.
bias type of judgments that are coming
Yeah.
through. And the biggest thing about what's going on with at the Supreme Court, whether or not you're pro-life or not, for me, I'm still Black.
Mhm.
And so the one issue that people need to understand is, if you're not going to wrap your head around what they're doing as far as female rights, our ability to eat, to be able to question and have the right to decide about our own bodies, if
Mhm.
that is not something you're concerned about, I'm okay. But what you do need to know is that that particular unraveling of Roe v. Wade is also something we need to understand for Black people, that goes all the way. And Clarence Thomas did mention this. And the Black community needs to understand that these people that are in office now, they project and they tell you exactly what they're going to do.
Mhm.
So don't listen to what the news says. They might. No, he projected they're going to come after same sex marriage. They're
Mhm.
going to come after contraceptives. What they're not telling you is, and but he did forget to say loving, because all of those were our civil rights that were set up at the Supreme Court with those decisions.
Mhm.
Loving is interracial marriage. That's also one of those ones that could be challenged. I assume he's not going to challenge that one though.
Well, I would think not.
Probably not. But he did mention same sex and he did mention contraceptives.
Wow.
But here's the ticker. It also means that they can, and I'm expecting they will, go all the way back to Plessy and board versus education.
Yep.
That is the beginning of all of this.
Mhm.
Equal, but equal. What is it? Separate but equal,
Mhm.
and the Board of Education. That's the beginning of everything that Black people were able to then start changing the way legally by the government and locally how Black people were treated.
Mhm.
That's with laws being changed. That's with opportunities being given to people, being allowed to live wherever you want to live, to be able to then be able to do all the things that we right now take for granted. Those things are up. And I
Yep.
do believe they will take those on. And not really sure what kind of world that will be if they then decide that Plessy and Board of Education is one of those rights that we no longer need from the
Right.
Supreme Court to challenge and to protect. And the issue is that for Plessy, when they got rid of separate but equal, they had to come with data, with statistics. They had to prove that separate but equal was a failure and it never worked. They didn't do that for Roe v. Wade. So that means that for everything else, it's open season on our civil rights.
Wow.
And we really need to understand what they are now. And then we need to come back and find out what are they after these people make their damage.
Right.
This is something that's serious. And it started with Planned Parenthood, but
Mhm.
it could, and I suspect, will be intros into a lot of things that has to do with African Americans,
Yes.
Black folk.
Yep. Yeah.
I hate to be a downer,
No,
but
no, this is information people need to know. Like, this decision essentially affects all of us.
it does.
It really does. So that's information. And then like you said there, whether you are pro-life or pro-choice, you know, it still affects everyone.
It does.
So,
It does.
um,
But
yeah.
it's the program tonight is free.
Hmm.
It's at 5 o'clock. We're just asking people to come down just to get it's free information. The whole I know that it seems corny, but it's true. Knowledge is power.
Yes. So this event tonight is at Mount Zion Church of God in Christ,
Yes.
right down on Muskegon Street. Starting at 5 o'clock p.m. The ladies from WIN have put together a very nice program for tonight for you to know your rights.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you taking the time out today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it too. Thank you,
All
guys.
right. All right. Again, thank you, Miss Deb, for taking the time out today to come in or come on. She's not in, but come on and discuss the Know Your Rights event tonight happening at Mount Zion Church of God in Christ. Go get some information. A lot of times, I always say you can't rely on like secondhand information. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to know something about a candidate or how they feel about something, I'm going to go talk to that candidate. I'm not relying on no secondhand information. So you hear things, people say things. I'm going to go ask if it's true. Did you say this? Is this? And then if you did say it, what did you mean by it? So that's just how I am with it. But how you feel about that? She just quiet. I think my cousin nervous.
It's just so much to like take in with like everything that's happening right now. So I'm just like overwhelmed. I'm upset. It's like scary. I don't want like people I know and love to, especially young girls, which is a population I care a lot about, to be, in back alleyways, like getting abortions and having to travel to other like I just don't like, it's just a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's like, hey, how could this happen?
Yeah, I'm like in shock. Like I am still like,
and like Miss Deb said, if they started with this, who knows what other decisions could be overturned in the future. And again, these decisions affect everyone. So on a happy note though, on a happy note, my cousin in the studio with me today is an author. This is your fifth book?
Yes. Fifth.
What?
Fifth book in 7 years.
Oh my goodness. She stays busy. So she has a book out right now, her fifth book out, and they have it up on the screen. So for the people that are listening in their cars or in their offices or at home, what is the book about and how can they get it?
Okay, so the book is called Black Girl Sew: Projects and Patterns to Stitch and Make on Your Own. It's about sewing, but it's also about so much more. There's a little bit about textile history, color theory. One of my favorite parts of the book is called Hidden Figures in Fashion. And these are historical people who like you might not know a lot about, who were very influential in paving the way for Black people to like be in the fashion industry. And they were before Instagram, before social media. So they didn't get like a lot of shine. And so I really wanted to take a moment and do profiles on them.
Oh, wow. So who are some of them? Just
so my favorite ones,
out of curiosity.
I mean, all of these are my favorite ones. There is like a list of 22, but I really love the profile on Eunice Johnson. She was the woman who started Ebony magazine, and she also did the Ebony Fashion Fair fashion shows. And I remember going to them with my mom after church. I think it was at the high school.
The one I went to was at the front though.
Yes,
and like we sat right in the front row. It was a youth group from church.
Yep. So we might have been there together.
We might have been.
So I loved going to them as a girl, and I think that was like what really opened, like it brung fashion to Muskegon in a way that was like fresh and different and alive. And so Eunice Johnson is one of my favorite historic people in fashion. We also talk about Patrick Kelly. He's the only man that I really recognized in the book, and he was a fashion designer from the 80s who was known as the King of Cling. And so there's just like all these like different people who I
what's the King of Cling? What does that mean?
Like very like tight fitting, clingy, kind of like sexy clothing for women. And he what was really unique about him was like before Christian Siriano, before like fashion designers are all about like size inclusivity, he was like on it from the beginning and just like making wanting to make every woman feel beautiful and designing.
So he catered to all shapes and sizes, not just
the 80s,
like not just the ones you would see on the runway 20 years ago. Because fashion, the runway is different now.
It is.
It is definitely more inclusive now. You don't have to be a size 000.
Right. No, it's so true. And he was doing that, in the 70s, in the 80s. And he also just really loved Black women and designing specifically for Black women. And so I wanted to like highlight him. And there's others too. So I think I would love to do like a whole book about hidden figures in fashion if I
maybe that's book number 6. Book number 6 coming up. Stay tuned. So what was your whole start? I know you said the Ebony Fashion Fair, but is there anybody in particular that was like, that taught you how to sew and do the patterns and all of that?
Yeah. So my mom graduated from the Heights in 1967, and that was when they had to take home ec. And so when I was little, like she used to always make my clothes because she was just like good at sewing and
y'all gotta. I'm gonna try to find some pictures and post them because Liz, I know you do. I know you do. Uncle Mickey got photo albums. But Leslie had some nice clothes that her mom made for her when we were kids.
Yeah, so that was where it started. We would be out. Joanne Fabrics was on Apple Avenue. And like my first childhood memories were like going to Joann's and like picking out buttons, picking out thread, and then my mom would make my Easter clothes. And so I think that's where like definitely where it all started. So I was like sewing with her like at 4, and then Herbert, Uncle Mickey, was like really into kind of like specialty shops, and so we would drive to Rogers, and Jacobson's, or we would be downtown at Steckety's. What was the other one? I can't remember. All those stores in the mall, and I would like get a dress.
Hostlers.
I was gonna say Gantos, but that wasn't for kids.
No.
But, like, I think between my mom's like DIY and like kind of like home ec background, and then my dad being kind of like more of a luxury fashion guy, like my passion for fashion just emerged from that.
Oh, okay. So we know you're from Muskegon. Give a shout out.
Yes, I'm from Muskegon. Muskegon High School graduate, 1996. It's always so good to be back home. Yeah.
Graduated from, like she said, Muskegon High School, class of 1996. She is my cousin, like my real cousin. This ain't no fake cousin. We go back to Kentucky. Uh, but she is having a pop-up book signing tomorrow. So want to make sure that if you're listening, you have any young ladies who are interested in fashion, um, you know, if just an inkling, if they want to come out and get the book, will you? How, you'll have copies on hand tomorrow, right?
Yes.
What will be the cost?
So the cost is $24.99.
Mm-hmm. That's a good price.
Yeah.
This book is thick. It's like,
yeah, it's a pandemic baby. I
it's
don't
a
have
pandemic
real
baby.
kids, but my books are my babies. So I wrote that book in the pandemic. I was up every morning at 6 a.m. writing
During
for
the
4
pandemic,
months.
while we was all sleeping in, taking on this rest that the pandemic made us have, she was up writing her 5th book during the pandemic. My niece is also in this book. Shout out to my sister Hillary for allowing my niece to travel to New York to be photographed to go inside this book as well. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, oh, look at that. That's so pretty.
And this is Madison's cat.
Oh, yay. She's gonna love that. Oh, she's gonna love that. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, we will be at the Us Cafe from 1 to 3. $24.99. You can get your very own copy of Black Girl Sew and have it signed by none other than Mrs. Leslie Williams-Ware. At the Us Cafe tomorrow. Shout out to Kaya for opening doors to the cafe. You know, you sent me that text and I sent it right to her. Like,
thank you. Because I wanted to be here last weekend and then flights were canceled.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, no, like I was so looking forward to it. So I'm glad we were able to make something happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what else is going on? What
else is going on? So
are you still teaching too?
I don't teach as much as I used to. I do have a program coming up this summer for teens at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So I'll be doing that. Yeah, it's a teen fashion studio. It's like a 1-week program that's inspired by the current exhibition up that's called In America, a Lexicon of Fashion. But that's like the only teaching I'm really doing right now because I've been so busy with the stores.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the stores.
So in the pandemic, so as soon as I finished this book, I got the opportunity to activate a space in the West Village of Manhattan. There are so many open storefronts right now across the country.
Because a lot of people didn't make it.
A lot of people didn't make it. A lot of things closed down. And so there's a nonprofit in New York City called Chishama that gives spaces to artists. And so they said, hey, do you want to activate a space for 3 months and do like a fashion pop-up? And so I did it, and I don't even know if it's still a pop-up because it's still happening. It's been a year, 3 locations later. So right now we are in the Port Authority bus terminal on 42nd and 8th Avenue. And it's a small business with like a lot of small businesses inside of it.
Okay. So like a hub.
Yeah, it's like a hub. We're like a little collective. And so like right now we're up to 20 different designers and artists who specialize in primarily sustainable fashion, like in the store. So it's called Art to Wear.
So is this all items that you make, or is it resale, or what is the space like?
So there are designers who most of them live in New York City, and so they make the things in their studios, a lot of times in their home. So it's like kind of slow fashion.
Okay.
So like we can kind of trace like where all of these pieces come from. A lot of them upcycle, meaning that they take things that maybe are kind of like considered dead stock to like fashion houses or companies, and they'll rework them to make them into something new. And so it's just really kind of taking the things that already exist and giving them a second life is kind of like the primary focus. Because there's just like a lot of waste and pollution that happens in fashion. And so I'm trying to take all of the stuff that I like talk about in these books and like bring it to market, bring it to life. get especially young people excited about like making change with it because they're the ones. I'm like Gen X, like we're not like probably the ones who are gonna like change fashion for the better. And so I've been really into like education as a way to stop some of like the things that I didn't like about fashion, and also to just highlight diversity and inclusion more.
Yes, absolutely. All right, listen, y'all.
Come out tomorrow.
Come out tomorrow.
We have like 15 copies available, but they're also on the Art to Wear website too. It's on Amazon. It's at Barnes and Noble. Yeah, so you can get it if you can't make it out tomorrow in other ways.
Your Amazon truck already coming to y'all house every other day. Go on and put this book in your cart. Yes. Black Girls Soul. My cousin, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you. My mom was like, Jennifer is running Muskegon. Like, call her to help you promote this book. And I was like, okay.
That is funny. Gwen. Lord. That is too funny. That is so cute. Yeah, come on out tomorrow, y'all. 1 to 3 at the Us Cafe, which is located right on the corner of Barney and Maffett, in Muskegon Heights. Come on out and meet the author and get a signed copy. She is autographing these copies, y'all. Y'all better get one. She's on her 5th book. I mean, come on now. That's like legendary around here. So, so come on out tomorrow again, y'all. 1 to 3 at the Us Cafe. I'm gonna say it again. That was the 4th time in like a minute I said it. I'm gonna say it again. 1 to 3 tomorrow at the Us Cafe. Very special pop-up book signing with my cousin Leslie Williams-Ware. All the way from New York, y'all. She's a Muskegon native. She is an example of following your dreams. You know what I'm saying? For lack of cliche, following your dreams though. This is what she wanted to do. She didn't go to school to be an author. I don't even think she's working in her field that she went to school for.
I'm like, why did I go to school?
Not saying don't go to college, but listen, when you want something and you want to achieve it, it can be done, even right here in little old Muskegon. Muskegon doing big things. Muskegon doing big things, like across the globe. So be a part of it, man. Come on out tomorrow, 1 to 3 at the Us Cafe. Get a signed copy. Bring your young ladies out. These books, most of your books are geared toward young teens, right?
Yeah, they're all sewing, fashion, and style activity books for youth.
Yeah.
And so most of them are for teens. There's one, How to Be a Fashion Designer, that's for like maybe like 8 and under. But yeah, they're really all geared at teens.
All right. So I'm gonna tag some of you ladies that have the youth programs for girls, some of these mentor programs. So you guys, if you can, I know it's short notice, but that's why it's called a pop-up. So
come through.
Yeah, come through. So yeah, I'm gonna tag some of y'all in a post later, so maybe you all can get your young ladies out tomorrow. Are you leaving tomorrow?
I'm leaving tomorrow, but I hope to come back. I would love to do a program.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about it and see if we can get together something at the end of the summer where we can actually make some of the projects in the book.
Oh, yay.
So if anyone has any ideas out there about spaces that we can use and activate and do like a camp or a drop-in kind of thing, or maybe it's connected to a church.
Oh, we definitely finna talk about this.
Bible school, like
we definitely about to talk about this. And we're gonna find some money and some sponsors. Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, so look at that. God, I love it. All right, y'all. That is my show for today. I know it was short, but it was some important information. So make sure you go out tonight to Mount Zion Church of God in Christ down on Muskegon Avenue for the Know Your Rights, hosted by Muskegon Women in Formation. The ladies have put together a awesome program for you tonight, for you to know your rights. They have experts coming in, to talk about what your rights are. I mean, know your rights. So that is tonight from 5 to 7 at Mount Zion Church, and then pop-up book signing tomorrow at the Us Cafe. from 1 to 3 with my cousin Leslie Williams-Ware. All right, y'all. Remember what as